Good day. Welcome to my presentation on considerations regarding a biomarker diagnosis of AD in early stages, when symptoms are absent or still so mild they do not interfere with everyday activities. In other words, could or should a doctor tell an individual you have Alzheimer's but no dementia yet? My name is Jetske You. I am a researcher at Alzheimer Center Amsterdam, and before I continue, I'd like to show you my disclosures. The ATN research framework shifts the concept of Alzheimer's disease from a syndromal to a biological construct. Based on the underlying pathophysiological process, AD is characterized by evidence of amyloid plaques, tau tangles, and neurodegeneration, irrespective of clinical presentation. This implies the disease can be diagnosed by abnormal biomarker levels, even in the absence of symptoms and signs. While this heralds opportunities, it also raises challenges. Is it ethically acceptable to diagnose AD in individuals without dementia? This question has sparked a heated debate. To gain some insight in the answer, we performed a systematic literature review. Following PRISMA guidelines, we searched the PubMed database for papers reporting theoretical data on the broad impact of disclosing abnormal biomarker results for amyloid and tau to individuals without dementia in stage 1, 2, or 3 of the ATN research framework. For data extraction, we used inductive content analysis. From the resulting 25 articles, we extracted 26 unique considerations. We grouped these according to their primary relevance to a clinical, personal, or societal context, as visualized by the circles. Next, we organized them by the key principles of medical ethics, which are beneficence, non-maleficence, justice, and autonomy. And these are represented by the quadrants. As you can see, some aspects were regarded to be beneficial as well as harmful, reflecting the theoretical debate. For example, clinical validity was argued to be strong in selected cohorts. On the other hand, the predictive value was contested. Regarding personal actionability, proponents stated that individuals and relatives could prepare for the future and improve their quality of life, while opponents believe these steps are advisable regardless of a diagnosis and should not be based on an uncertain prognosis. On a societal level, considerations appear to be interrelated. For example, patients have the right to decide whether and with whom to share their diagnosis. This can lead to support, but also to stigma and even discrimination, which in turn can be a reason to withhold a diagnosis to begin with. Overall, views were heterogeneous and often contradictory. However, it may not have to be one or the other, as both sides can be true to some extent and perspectives may change over time. For example, while a diagnosis can provide certainty on what is going on, it can also bring uncertainty on what to expect. Also, authors tended to focus on adverse implications, yet literature on disclosing genetic susceptibility suggests it can be safe and actionable for those who choose to know. This illustrates the ardent need of empirical evidence on harms as well as benefits. Furthermore, applying the four-principle approach may unduly simplify a complicated matter. The framework relies on the notion of a common morality, while the motivation and implications of biomarker testing are deeply personal. Yet patients' perspectives are underrepresented in the theoretical debate. Future research should focus on personal and societal implications from all points of view. Comparison of statements was hampered by a disparity of definitions of AD. Findings were based on different diagnostic criteria. This emphasizes the need for a common language and a common concept of Alzheimer's disease. An underlying and fundamental question is whether individuals with normal cognition but abnormal biomarkers are ill. In the field of oncology, it is common to diagnose patients with cancer, regardless of signs of complaints. But when it comes to AD, it is believed that people without symptoms should not be regarded as patients in waiting, but considered as persons at risk. This is largely due to a lack of clinical utility. So this balance may start to change in the light of the FDA's conditional approval of a first disease-modifying treatment for AD. To conclude, regarding a biomarker-based diagnosis of AD before dementia, we found 26 diverse and opposing considerations related to a clinical, personal, or societal context. Empirical research is urgently required, especially on harms as well as benefits, taking perspectives of the general public into account. Our findings provide a starting point for clinicians to discuss a biomarker-based diagnosis with their patients to enable shared decision-making. Lastly, I'd like to thank you for your interest and wish you a great conference.